Hi, how's it going, Logan?
It's been going good. I've been doing content creation, I think, for almost around 6 or 7 years by now for my singing monsters.
Wow. I'm curious, where do you come up with your ideas on what you want to do and when you want to do them?
I must say, back in the day, I used to just try to upload daily or the multiple videos a day, and then over time, I've definitely slowed down and realized that can cause burnout and
Yeah.
But anytime I just think of an idea or I mess around with a sound, I'm like, this could be something. Then I could possibly make a video on it. That or sometimes out of obligation, since I know I'm so good on resources or whatever, I can make a full a video covering the newest addition to a song they're already in the game. But outside of that, it's mostly just my own original content that I'll be like, oh, what if I replaced this sound with this, or what if this sound was on this?
Yeah.
It's just kind of different certain scenarios. And then once in a blue moon, once I feel like a song I was working on is finally done being in the oven, it's everything's ready to go. I'll start releasing a new composed song, and then release the parts one by one. It kind of showed instead of just posting the full song at once, I just show little sections of it, so
Okay.
it sounds
To
like the
tease it.
song. Well, almost. It's like how in the original My City Monsters, you start one by one and add more to it.
Yeah.
So I try to kind of what's not copy that, but more simulate it in a way by each week, instead of oh, here's all the monster sounds, here's the song. It's I release some sounds, then an update, and then some sounds, and an update, and then just keep going until it reaches that final point where it's complete.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Um,
That's it.
yeah, you're kind of taking it's the same kind of way of, just that experience of the game of okay, it's just building and building, and then you never know what's going to come next. And that's the one of the things I kind of like about, the game itself is that it, as it fills in, it takes turns and stuff that you would never expect. You're like, oh, that's a weird new way to kind of envision the song, but that's a very clever way of doing it.
Yeah, it's I remember when I first started trying to do this method, I released all the already existing ones, all the existing monsters and sounds all at once. So it's almost a week or week and a half of just not 9 different sounds being released at once, because it was the 7 monsters that was reused from the first game, plus the castle, plus one that was already revealed, and then afterwards it'll be every week it'll be one or two being added on top.
For
And
sure.
but
Yeah.
yeah, nowadays I think it'll be more streamlined to do since every island is usually 15 monsters plus a castle base, just split them up into four, so 4 sounds each week. So it sounds oh, it sounds more and more complete over time, rather than it being almost dragged out in a way where it's every week you're only getting one small addition, or like sometimes if monsters or the sounds are released to the time period between the last update and now was so long, it feels like the addition might not be as meaningful or impactful as if it was just added in sooner.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to do it for sure. Um, actually, there's a question I haven't asked you. Is what's your favorite monster?
Hmm. Now that's a toughie, because there is one monster that's almost like was forced to be my favorite in a way since
Okay.
I was the one who revealed it. I mean, back in like 2016, I was contacted by Big Blue Bubble to reveal a monster,
Oh, really? Okay.
and
I
it
must have
was
been there. I
it
don't
was
know.
a well, this was in September of 2018, and it wasn't like a brand new monster per se. It was like a variant.
Okay.
Uh, it was the Epic Mammott,
Okay.
and just like a part of like if you were like personally selected to reveal something before anyone else saw it, and then it's like how can that not be one of your favorites or the favorite?
For
It's
sure.
like I think I have an image of it if you haven't seen it before. There we go.
Let's.
But it was
This is Rare Mammoth.
I think I sent in the DMs the Epic Mammoth.
Epic Mammoth. I'm just gonna get video of it, just so we can.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe. Well, that's a little loud. You can hear that, right? I hope.
Yeah. I'll say if you need to. I actually have the reveal video.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Let's
On
watch
here.
that. Let's go to the reveal video. That'll be fun. Do you have to? I assume you have your own voice and everything.
Oh no. I almost like funny enough, the last time I was like actually used my voice to just like regularly talk and stuff was for like a Q&A where someone asked when I was going to do a voice reveal. Besides that, I almost like never talk or
Yeah.
do anything like that. I usually just like if I making it like a vocal sound, then like yeah, I'll use my voice sometimes. But outside of that, I almost never like talk or do
Yeah.
anything. It's
Okay. I'm gonna play this video. I'm gonna switch it over here so you can see.
I'm gonna say in this video it does actually feature like a little short remix I did
Oh yeah.
as well. So there's a little something.
Okay. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Big Blue Bubble has contacted me and asked me to reveal a new epic. Well, actually, before I say which epic monster it is, what happened?
This I remember multiple different people
Yeah.
were revealing monsters.
Yeah.
But I remember like they always said which monster it was, and like they showed in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So I wanted for my reveal to not say which one it was, and just tease it in a way.
Yeah.
Like I thought, because this was actually the last one revealed by somebody,
Yeah.
and I thought as like a sort of finale, I thought I could just keep it like a secret to the very end.
Oh, I think that's
Just
smart
like
to do
unless
for sure.
it's like everybody had their own unique way of like revealing it. Like some made like a remix, or some like did like it took like real footage as if they were like discovering it. And like some of those I was inspired by. Like remember the Epic Toe Jammer reveal? They had like all the monsters lined up, like all three of the types of Toe Jammer together, and like, ooh, that's a neat idea. I might do it for mine. Or like there was someone did a remix for like like a medieval like Plant Island remix. That I think it was the Monster Explorers
Okay, I
who
know. I know.
did
That,
like
yeah.
this. Yeah, they did like a medieval remix for like the Epic Potbelly because it's inspired by dragons. So.
Yeah.
And I remember the Toe Jammer. It was done by a person named Primal Kev. But
Okay, that
back in the day, their
doesn't ring a
name,
bell. Yeah.
yeah, they're not. I say they have a lot of subscribers, but not that many people talk about in the community, and they're great.
Yeah.
They for Dark Island, they voiced Toe Jammer and Mammott.
Oh, cool. Um,
Yeah, they they did like a cool little thing where they took camera footage to see like they were like discovering it in a way, and like there's also different kinds as well. Like someone named MPG,
yeah.
who's a pretty big um channel. They revealed Epic Pom Pom, and it was just kind of like a standard reveal where it's like they show it off in a thumbnail and like they talk about it. Same thing goes for other people like Diane Delsig
Yeah.
or I think their name is Wabanka. But like the later reveals, that was me, the Monsters Explorers, Primal Kev. It almost was like a little bit different, where instead of like like, oh hey, this is what's coming out, we all had our own like unique thing. And for like Primal Kev, it was like the like discovery footage almost. For the Monster Explorers, it was like the remix. And for me, I always wanted it to be like a complete surprise. And like the only hint that you know what was coming out is like it was one of these certain monsters that was on the thumbnail, and you could see like the horns of the epic in like the bottom left. But besides that, unless you watched the video and actually got to that middle part where they finally reveal it, you would have no idea which monster it was. And I thought that was like a nice like send off to that little celebration that BBB did.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. That must have been exciting to be involved with. Did you? I've asked what your favorite was. What's your favorite island, or do you have one? I always find it
Ooh,
hard
that
to pick one myself.
I depending on how you look at it, I have like three different favorites.
Okay.
And it's like the first one that was I considered my favorite, and it might be my favorite right now, was Earth Island. It's always
Okay.
been.
Interesting. And
About to, I don't know why, but I remember.
I just always I like that Earth Island is. I actually wrote part of it when I was quite young, I was in high school, but the chord structure, just the weird minors and major switches and stuff like that, was not very common. Let's just put it. So it is a little dissonant. But yeah, some people really like Earth Island. Some people don't like it at all. But
I about to say, when it comes to like my favorite songs in MSM, it's kind of weird to say how they almost have like a darker tone in some ways, and I don't know why, but it's just like I always like that more, like not like sinister, but just like not like overly happy.
yeah. Oh, I agree.
And like the Earth Island is, to me, is like the perfect example of that. And the one monster I think of that like really helped me like realize that it might be one of my favorites was surprisingly Dandy Doo. Just that
Okay.
like melody that like gets like more sinister at the end, and then it like switches to
that one, right? Yeah, I think that's it.
yeah. It's just like the very end of that track where it goes do 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 do, and then it's just like after that it goes straight into like the choir singing,
Yeah.
and just like complete like goes from like a slower beat to like a lot more like harsher in a way. Like one of my favorite tracks is Drumpler, where it's like just every other quarter note it just hits the snare,
Yeah.
and then once that part ends it goes straight into like doing a solo almost, where it's just like
It's gonna be
rapidly
nuts.
hitting the drum.
Yeah.
I love it's but outside of Earth Island, another one I'm just kind of going in how they released was
Sure.
Wublin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a darker
And
one.
Wublin has that's yeah, it's but Wublin, depending on like the day, I view it either as like the very best, or it's like eh, it's or like oh, it can get a little cluttered at time. I don't know if it's very heavily dependent on like which version of Woodland Island I'm listening to,
Yeah.
because I like I call it like it's like the original 15 version, or like the tutorial version, because there's like a lot of different like versions of Woodland Island that you consider, because like the current one features 21 monsters, but like when Woodland Island was first revealed, they kind of accidentally, like, I wouldn't say accidentally, they might have done it on purpose, but like showed off the full song, and like you just hear it in the background of this tutorial version, and it's a lot different than the current version. Like some sounds are extended, or like this monster isn't here and it plays a different part, but it's
Really?
that specific like the
How
major part I remember.
how did it get? So you're saying like there was the first release and then they changed it afterwards because it's been such a while, like, or
I wouldn't say they changed it. It's because like when they released it, it was like 5 monsters, and
okay,
then every month or a
yeah,
couple weeks they add another. But in the like they had a tutorial of how the island works, and in the background you can hear like every monster,
what?
even though there's only 5 in game. So you can hear the entire song, and you can notice from like once the song actually reached that point to back then, things changed. Like some tracks, like the one I think of the most is like Zucker, the kazoo,
Yeah,
where
ba,
I
ba,
remember
da,
it had
ba, da, da, da. Yeah,
it, it uh it had a longer track where like I don't know how to describe it, but like the beginning felt like a little bit more filtered,
mm-hmm.
where and then it goes and then it just repeats again, but more like louder. And I assume they like probably like cut it down to save like memory and space,
Yeah, I
since
don't
like
know
it's
why.
such a minor. It's since I know like audio back in the day, since the game used to run on lower end devices, they probably like cut the track in half, because it saves a lot more data
Yeah, for
on the
sure.
file size. So I understand why that
I don't
possibly
know. I
happened.
don't think that's what happened because I was there. I
Hmm.
think they probably made another
Well,
mix or something. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, possibly. I have the like I kind of recreate like the sound before like they extended.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I just sent it, but it's like it was only like the sound was only like revealed, like this extended part of it was like viewed through like a vine or like a little short video teasing it.
Yeah.
But like else, but in the actual song, that like little beginning part is not there,
Okay, I'm
and
gonna
it's
give it a
like
listen and I'm gonna see. So you should
yeah.
that sounds right.
But let me pull it up.
That just sounds like the regular one. I don't know.
Yeah, but that was the recreation of it, and in game, that's what it sounds like, where it's just like it's just almost like cut in half, where that like little beginning is not there.
Oh, you're talking very minor difference.
Oh yeah, it's very minor, but I
Okay.
don't know why. It just always like I just always remembered that part,
Yeah.
and I'm like, huh.
It's
So
amazing.
like yeah, I understand why they cut.
Yeah. It's amazing the details that you guys find. Like, like little hidden earphone bleed, and just the amount of attention to detail that you guys have, and a lot of this stuff. The questions I get, it's just coincidence, but there's all these people reading into. Well, it could be because of this. Maybe this was intentional, and it's like, no, it just happened. There was no intent behind it. It's
I
amazing.
That's funny because when it comes to like noticing little details or like like the most minor of things. I think I am known pretty well for that, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
Like I can notice, like look at an image that's in the game. I'm like, hey, wait, there's a pixel off. This
Yeah.
this don't seem right. And
I'm the
it's like
opposite.
I don't mean like any. Anytime like sometimes post about it, it's like, huh, I noticed this, and I feel like some people take it like almost like negatively. It's like I'm just pointing out every flaw, but it's me just like, huh, I've never noticed that.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of things that were like definitely unintentional, or like just because it's like sprite based, there might be like a layering issue or something. But I always notice, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Or like I especially notice when it's like something sound related.
Yeah.
It's something like is missing or like was changed. I'm like, oh wait, whoa. But back to what I was saying about Wublin,
Yeah.
like the current version of it, I feel like it can sometimes get a little bit too messy or cluttered because I
Yeah.
always liked it when it was like almost a little bit more jazzy than electric. Because like the last like four monsters, it was 2 cents. Well, no, it was like 4 cents. No, I can't. No, it was the last five. It was I don't know what was about it, but it's like to me, it's like oh, it kind of like shifted the tone a little more, where it became a lot more like synthetic rather than like a mix of like some synths and
I'm
electric and
curious.
then some jet.
I'm curious if I made those or not. I'm trying to think. Do you name a Wublin that was one of the last ones? I'll tell you if I made that or not.
Uh, m- there's a Astropod. Uh, like that one. I feel like you might have made it since I think its sound originates from
Yeah.
Hallian on Cubase. So
Yeah, I made that one. So that's
yeah, I
yeah.
almost I think the last five. I mean, they were all made in like 2016, 2017.
Okay, so no, I made that.
So
It's not
it's
like there's
like
additional ones that were put in. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, after that time, there's only like one new one that was added onto it, and it's not even a Wublin. It's just like a little celebratory seasonal.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like its sound enough. But it works in the tone of how Wublin is now. But it's just I don't know. I always loved that like almost like sinister vibe that was also like jazzy.
Yeah.
That like really. So it's definitely a more personal thing, but just I always preferred like the original 15 monsters, and that includes the Wubbox, and just that. But it's like specifically those monsters and specifically in a specific layout, and it's like
Well, I
so hard to like.
yeah. I think I mean that's kind of what I like the. I've never really intended people to have everything on all the time. I kind of wanted people to kind of pick their favorite combinations. It's not. It doesn't matter to
I'm
me
not
what
saying,
people do,
yeah.
but they can get very thick in general. Like there's just so many things
But
going on.
It's funny you mentioned that since like Wublin Island is like the only island I have like on my account that I purposely do mute some
Yeah.
monsters. And I do like change the song a little bit up.
Well, that's good for you. I kind of like
And
people having their. It's
yeah,
just like with I don't want everybody
their
to
like
have the
preferred
same.
version.
Yeah, it's a way of expressing yourself. Of like that's what I was kind of hoping instead of just everybody having one of everything and there it is. You know, it's always fun to go
Yeah,
through and see people's islands.
it's like I don't know how to say it. Well, like over time, the game really like specified like trying to collect it all. Like
Yeah,
since they like add a collection book where you can check your progress and stuff. And like a part of me is like, did we really need that? But the other part of me kind of like likes how it's like, oh, I can see what I do have, what not.
yeah,
So it's kind of like a different way to view it in a way.
Yeah, it's there's I can't remember who. I think
But
there was somebody wanted that in. I was more ambivalent about that, but uh, everybody has
I think it
different
was added in
things.
and yeah, it's definitely added in like later into the game's
Oh yeah,
life, like 2017, 2018.
yeah.
But it's like I don't think it's a bad thing, but like a part of me is like, eh, sometimes it's nice not to be like reminded if you're missing something like over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. Um, just to get to
But
some more questions from you,
yeah.
do you think, do you have something interesting coming out next? I don't want you to kind of reveal everything, but do you have some hints that you can drop?
Ugh. I'm not sure if I can drop too many hints, but I've been like I've been working on like the next song for I'm almost around t- like almost 2 years now. I've been just working on the same thing just to make sure. I know it's been a lot of off and on since I released like Dark Island, for example, and then immediately after I worked on two different songs. One was supposed to be the follow up, like the next real big song, and the other one was like a fun little like Christmas thing. Since it was November at the time, and I'm like, oh, I can just do like a quick little holiday thing. And like the holiday one came out on Christmas, and everything was great. But the second song, that the real like next big one, I've been working on since 2021 November, and this November it'll be like 2 years, and it's just been like it's been getting better and better over time, and it's like mainly at this point it's about like recording vocals with other people and like possibly like updating sounds to sound more high quality and not so mono. Since during that shift I've been realizing, why do songs in mono
Yeah.
when they're like arguably better in
See, you
stereo.
can get more space. You can fit more things in stereo. Yeah.
And then like throughout that time, uh, with some more people added in to the project, we decided to like remaster and make Dark Island in stereo, have like more complexity to it, uh, double like alongside the regular monsters, we did like the rares for all of them. So it's like plus we added a seasonal. So it's like went from 15 animated monsters to 31. So over that like 1 year and a half, it's like things were getting done, but it took away time from the next main big thing, and I am hoping to possibly get it out by end of this year or next or the beginning of next year, but
Wow.
I have no clue. Yeah. And the funny thing is, so many people are like, "Oh, so what's the next island? What's the next element?" And I have not seen a single person guess correctly
Yeah.
on what the actual next element is, or like what's the idea or concept behind it. Nobody I know of has
Okay,
guessed
can
it
I guess?
correctly.
I think
Sure.
it's gonna be it's gonna be something to do with food. It's gonna be uh, mm, rotting vegetable island. Am I close? No.
Uh, Not really.
No, not really at all. I'm way off, am I?
Not all. Mm.
Yeah, it's amazing that taking that long. Like most of the islands, for me, I think they would take 2 or 3 days for me to rate, and they'd be full days. But I can't imagine spending months and years on something. But
It's it. I just take such a long time in like the like process of a song, and it's like I'm basically like I take very like long breaks in between like touching a song, because it like kind of like like every time you get back into it, it's almost like a fresh start in a way, where it's not like, oh, I spent like 3 hours on this, and then I'd like take a break and then come back, and it's like it kind of adds up in time. But if I like take days off or like even like weeks and then comes back to it, it kind of gives you like an idea that you might not have before in a way. So that's why I take a pretty long time in composing, since it just gives me like time to like possibly think of like ideas like something that I couldn't think about before, just trying to complete it all at once.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I love the way that you stick to it and you get it done. Um, I guess I do have to go quite soon. Um, But I do. Is there any other question that you may have, or any critique, anything that you think would be you would a message you would like to get passed on? Anything that you think MSN should be focusing on? Anything like that?
I can think of like one or two things I would like to say. For like what I think about like MSM, I think recently I feel like they focus like this might just because of like they're almost feeling like catch up in a way, since they like 1 or 2 years ago they like established a lot of stuff for like the future, and we're now finally like seeing what they like built up, but it's nothing like like shocking or new or like expands upon anything. It's just like, oh, like here's a little celebratory event that happens like for 2 weeks, and then it's nothing for a week. Then it's like 2 or 3 weeks of the event, where it kind of like it gets a not that it's not like repetitory to me. It's more of like, so for like almost the entire year that they've been like saying it's going to be the biggest, it almost felt like everything we knew about just kind of came and did. It's like there's no like new song or like surprising factor. It was just kind of like, oh, it's that thing that we all knew was coming.
Yeah.
And I might be in the vocal minority, but like I enjoyed all the events. I liked them. It's just that I get like a lot of like enjoyment and surprise of the things we don't know, and like the really crazy things they add. And like there's only like three things I can really think of that really like whoa, that was something we didn't expect. And none of them like most of them were like either just cosmetic or like on side stuff. And it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
I expect by like next year we're just going to be seeing like what they've been doing that time, and it's like. But I always like thought it was a little weird that they had said like, oh, this is like this big 10-year event, and most of it was just stuff that they basically told you was going to happen.
Yeah.
And like the major highlight is when they revealed all the creator made monsters, and they put into the game. That was like the biggest one since.
Yeah, that was
Like
pretty
we
cool.
knew that was like we knew it was happening, but it's great to like finally see them come out. But it also kind of goes back into the like great, we finally getting all the stuff that we were like basically told. But is there like anything outside of that? And yeah, almost everything this year it's been like stuff that's like you knew was happening, and there wasn't like a big curveball.
Yeah.
But that
Well,
might
that's
just be like
funny that you say that term. That's my philosophy is I agree that uh, you should always, you try to give what the audience wants, but you should always throw some curveballs, some things that they don't see coming. And I think it's because, yeah,
yeah.
you want to give them what they want, but you also want to surprise them because that's the. So I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't been
just
following that much, so I don't know how it's changed.
oh yeah. I'm gonna say this just like this next week they're gonna be like revealing what's happening during anniversary month at like this big event called PAX West.
Yes.
And I'm not going, but like I'm hoping that what they do reveal is something a little more surprising. Like, oh wow, never thought they'll do that. But it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like I'm not ever disappointed with anything, but it's like it's like, oh, like that's something that came out. That was expected.
Hmm.
But sometimes you just always there's always that like wish for more, and I think it's kind of hard to be like saying like, oh, like you can't like like be harsh or be like critical of
No, no, of
something that you
course.
knew was going to happen, but it's just a- anytime people make like voice their opinions on stuff, it's like almost like, okay, so are you positive or are you negative? It's like there's no like room for discussion
Yeah.
or
No, no,
like a middle
I
ground.
think you're
Yeah.
being open and honest, and I think that's important. And hopefully, I know they appreciate feedback. Um, you know, I think sometimes, you know, you do you if you people just don't voice their opinions, and so everybody thinks everything's okay. Um, but
Oh
speaking
yeah.
of surprises, I can't reveal it quite yet, but Maggie and I have some definitely a curveball coming. So you'll see.
Ooh, a curveball or a curveball?
Well, yeah, either way, but yeah, we're gonna be announcing something soon. So hopefully that'll be something nobody's really expecting. But yeah, so
I was gonna say.
it's
I
so
look forward to that.
yeah, it's so nice to chat with you. I just love hearing how they got into the game, people's stories, people's thoughts. Because in all honesty, it's you guys, the fans, that really made the game. I think it uh, just drove me to want to create more. And without an audience, you can't make a game. But I think
Oh, yeah.
this particular audience too, they're just so nice. They're so uh, appreciative of everything it was really made such a pleasure to
I
do this.
think I think people sometimes forget, like when something like very minor or some like drama or whatever happens in the community. I think people forget just how great the
It is
MSM
general.
community really
Yeah,
is.
compared to other games, oh
It's
my
like,
god. Yeah,
oh yeah, definitely compared to other games, but it's like I feel like some people not take for granted, but just kind of forget
yeah,
that like MSM is such a big and nice community, and almost everyone in it is either nice or just like helping in a way, or just fun to talk to. And I just think people's like get so focused on negativity that they think, oh yeah,
yeah,
everything's gotta be bad.
yeah,
It's like it's like, oh, it's either good or something bad happens and it's bad.
yeah.
And I don't know.
That's human nature. We focus on the bad stuff. It's evolution will kind of make you. Yeah, it's good to know there's a tiger in the area. We should focus on the bad thing there. But in general, it is. I agree. I think that it's such an amazing thing. I just enjoy coming in and just trying to be a part of it myself and just getting all the positive feedback and everything. So I'm just loving just being not actually doing all the work and just kind of meeting all the people and stuff. And that's part of why I'm just reaching out to people.
Oh, yeah.
But for sure, at any point in time, Logan, now you know me. Now we're friends. So you just if you need
Mhm.
anything, you reach out and let me know. But I
Oh, sure thing, Dave.
yeah, I really appreciate taking the time, especially with that one false start. But I think we got a lot of
Oh,
good
no
stuff there.
problem.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I am gonna say bye, but don't really go. Okay, and so I'll see you later, Logan.
Okay.
Have a good one. Oh,
You too, Dave.
yeah, thanks a lot.